What did you want to taste first?
So these are my most current releases. They're both Pinot Noirs. They're both from 2014. I have an Oregon wine, a Willamette Valley, and a Columbia Gorge Pinot Noir. Both different soils, different terroirs, different stories.
Which one we start on?
Let's start on the Willamette Valley.
All right. So, what's your feeling on 2014 for Oregon? Because I mean, there's a lot of we got a lot of press and people know a lot about it, but like having had some of your 2014s in the past and seeing where they've ended up, what's your feeling on it? So you seem to be in a different place than other winemakers in the valley. So.
Well, I sourced fruit from colder vineyards, so the alcohol in my 2014s was a lot lower than probably most people's. The acid is also a lot higher.
Right.
I think it was a very abundant vintage. There's going to be there was a lot of wine made in 2014, and I think the quality is going to be very high.
Wow,
and I think you can't really go wrong with very many 2014s that you're going to taste.
Cool.
Or smell.
I'm into that, and I also feel like these big bumper crop years are a great opportunity for guys like yourself. And when you mention like there are a lot of good ones, this is the year to really go out there and explore. A lot of new producers, a lot of people you've heard coming up, because the prices are great, and everybody, I think almost everyone, no matter who they are, had good fruit to work with. So it's a really good chance to experience, kind of the vision of what people are trying to do. We're in 13, if you're a new guy and kind of lower on the totem pole for fruit contracts, the stuff that came in 13 is not what you got in 14
no.
at all.
No.
Yeah.
So
different.
So definitely, get out there, explore, get to know some new producers in 14.
Yeah, and 2014, I think, at least for my wines, everything came in very clean, and that helped me. I could do everything basically the way I wanted it to, which is to do nothing.
Okay. Neutral oak?
Well, with this wine, this is the only wine that saw new oak.
Okay.
And that reason is because I needed to buy some new barrels for my winery. And I'm a little bit weird about buying other people's barrels because I don't use a lot of sulfur in my wines, and I go very naturally. Sure. And so when I use other people's barrels, if they have...
You get what they've got.
I get, exactly.
So sulfur sticks around in the barrels, or like it
not
changes the barrels? Or?
Yes, sulfur does stick around in barrels, but what I'm more concerned about is Brettanomyces or...
If they've got stuff that's controlled by sulfur later.
Oh.
Yeah.
Got it. That makes sense. Yeah. I would have never thought that. Yeah, be the thing. So.
Things that happen from... sometimes from barrels that you get when you get barrels from other people, you don't know like whatever their regime on cleaning the barrels is.
Sure.
And rarely are people selling their best barrels.
Sometimes that's true. Yeah. It depends. Some people that use a lot of new oak, they'll get rid of their barrels after 1 or 2 times used, and then you can get them from them then, or sometimes you'll get people that have used their barrels many times. Anyways, so with this wine, I bought 2 new puncheons, which you guys saw when you came in.
Yeah.
And puncheons are 500 liter barrels, and so that's about 2.2 barrels.
I love the names.
Yeah, puncheons. And,
follow Joe Swick on Facebook.
The names of the barrels.
Yeah.
So
throw that out there.
Jackie Treehorn and Carl Hunt.
Yeah. So
for those who know,
the wine from this the barrel that went into this cuvee came from both. So Jackie Treehorn and Carl Hungus were my 2 puncheons, and Rousseau barrels. Let me
That's so cool.
engrave the names on my barrels.
That's so cool.
And so I named them after clients that I was making wines for.
Perfect.
And so the two clients were Carl Hungus and Jackie Treehorn. And so actually with this blend, there is a little bit of Jackie Treehorn and a lot of Carl Hungus.
All right.
This is 50% Medici vineyard. Medici vineyard is where I make my wines.
Pretty old vines too, so not one that's got a lot of hype in the valley, but
yeah,
Beautiful piece of
worth
land,
talking
though.
about. Yeah.
beautiful piece of
River
land.
Ridge? No.
Chehalem Mountains.
Chehalem Mountains, okay.
Right over by the Allison
Okay.
Spa and Hotel.
Okay.
Kind of a sleeper of a vineyard.
Totally. Like, they released their wines really late for some reason.
I don't think they released them late. Hal Medici doesn't really. There isn't a lot of emphasis on selling these wines immediately. Yeah,
Sure. Okay.
So right now you'll find 2004s, 2006s,
Right.
2008s.
Yeah,
Which is
we
actually
see
kind
that.
of cool
It's just-
sometimes, depending on if you're like a super geek about your Pinot Noir.
It is
right?
pretty cool because sometimes you can strike out and sometimes you can.
Win big.
Yeah.
And it's good
Sometimes
to
not
hear
gonna
that
home
that's
run.
the reason that you're not pushing it. Sometimes when you see old vintages, it's because somebody couldn't move them and is trying to dump it. But it's a very different story because like a lot of people like can't afford to sit on a vintage of wine for 2 years or 3 years even.
Yeah.
So it turns around fast. But
No, Hal Medici owns a lot of land in the Willamette Valley, and you know he's not doing this to as a business. It's more of a love, and so he sells his wines as they sell, and he doesn't put any like emphasis on going out and marketing his wines, and so like.
and how old are the vines again?
So in this wine, they're from 1976. They're the oldest, and they're own rooted.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, own rooted Pomard. But he has newer vineyards as well. Newer plantings as well.
Sure.
Medici Vineyards makes up about 50% of this cuvee, Pomard, and then the remainder is Consilla Vineyard, which is a vineyard that I work with on my Pinot program. That's the biggest percentage of my Pinot is from Consilla Vineyard.
So on the nose, I think some darker fruit comes through that I wouldn't guess is Chehalem right out of the gate. Like it's got a little bit of that black earth character, a little bit of dark fruit, a little bit of an herbal note on it, I think too.
Yeah.
But still a good sense of aromatics, especially this.
Does the earthiness remind you of Yam Hill Carlton or like Eola Amity? It reminds me more of like Eola Amity, like further south.
Okay, I won't go.
Sort of like
I don't have
a
a guess,
like a clay sort of I don't know, earthiness, but I'm pretty whole cluster on this entirely.
Yeah, 100% whole cluster.
Okay, so say that comes through on the nose, rather much like there's like a hint of like pepperiness to it almost. It's really kind of nice, right? Along with the fruit flavors, and for 14, like there's good ripeness. There's a lot of freshness along with that ripeness. It's not a sort of like over ripeness.
Yeah, this is 11.9% alcohol. So you get the right flavors, I think, because of the vintage, but because of the terroir or the place, you get lower sugars just because I work with colder sites. So Medici, Consilla, and then the Ferracene is 10% Ferracene on the back end, which is a Ferracene vineyard is a Yam Hill Carlton vineyard.
Okay.
That just gives it a little bit of a masculine kind of lift. It just gives a little bit more tannin and darker fruits. Medici and Consilla both being more red fruited and more mineral acid driven. So
I feel like the fruit on the mid palate is in a great spot right now. It's like these great cherries, great sense of purity to it. Friendly drinking, and the acidity's in a great place too. It keeps it crisp and fresh. Tannins are there. Joe remarked earlier that he felt they were pretty strong, but I don't feel like they're too strong. I think they're in a good spot.
I feel like they've got a good amount of grip in
Yeah.
the finish. I mean, like the cheeks for me, like especially like in the late finish, is like completely dry, right? And got a good amount of grip, which actually kind of excites me for like the aging potential on this wine, considering the balance now, right?
It's
like
in a good spot now. Yeah.
this is drinking really nicely now.
And what's the price retail on this?
$20 basically, yeah.
Which is a steal. Yeah, we kind of talked about this on the show before, but it's guys that are new to the market. We did Brian Day's Johan Vineyard, Pinot Noir recently, and this stuff is people getting into the game. The prices are great. Mm-hmm. Seize the opportunity. Wine like this is really enjoyable. It's got some aging potential.
Right, and they're somewhat rare wines with a story, and then this is
not a
lot of love produced, a lot of love in this wine, so it's good. It's real good.
And you plan on keeping the Willamette Valley a similar blend every year, or is that going to move around as more vineyards become available?
Yeah, I think it'll move around as more vineyards become available, and it's also vintage dependent. Like 2014 was a bumper crop,
right?
And so I made more wine than I had planned on making, and that allowed me to make a really good Willamette Valley Pinot Noir. I mean, you can't go wrong with 2014s. It's
this is really
they're all good.
So. This is fantastic. Yeah, especially at the $20 price point. This is you gotta check this out.
And do you retail? People send you an email. Can you sell them wine or go to favorite retailers in Portland? Or?
So I can ship or deliver in the Portland area, but outside of delivering out of states, no, they have to order from
Sounds good.
Here. Yeah.
But shout out to a couple of retailers that have really supported you well.
Yeah, Avalon Wines, Vino, Storyteller.
Awesome, great.
From out state, you see this.
Yeah, check that out. If you're in state, especially if you're in Portland, go to his website. We'll have it linked. Send him an email. Sounds like you delivered.
I want to say thank you. I think I was looking through your website. You had a link to one of our older shows where we did the Sous-Bois.
Yeah, this one.
The Sous-Bois. Well, the white version. Yes.
Which is really good.
Oh my god, that wine is so good. I bought, I think, 4 and drank them literally within 3 weeks.
Oh, really? That's great.
It was like one left the fridge, another one went into the fridge, and it just, killer. So.
The 2015 is even better.
Okay.
And there's a lot more of it made.
Good deal.
Yeah. So, when his Sous-Bois white comes out, check that out.
Pinot Gris.
Bottling it soon?
Yeah, at the end of February.
Nice. Yep. So it's on the market in no time.
Yep.
Let's do a rinse with wine number 4.
Yep. You got some work to do.
Yeah. That's all right. And when that's gone, you can talk a little bit about this is Le Sous-Bois Pinot Noir from Washington. Talk a little bit about this place.
Sure. So this place is directly across from Hood River. You can see it from Hood River if you're sitting at Double Mountain having a beer.
Sure. It's a good thing to do.
Look across the river, up on the bluff there. There's a little area called Underwood Mountain. Mm-hmm. Les Sous-Bois means the Underwood in French.
Oh, that makes so much sense. All right. Yeah. I thought it was like in my mind it's been Forest 4 all this time. I'm like,
it's not Les Sous-Bois.
Underwood.
It could be if you want it to, but it is if you want to speak in French, it's Les Sous-Bois. And the name is indicative of the terroir, Underwood, the Underwood.
Nice.
So Joe has posted photographs of this vineyard, and hopefully we can steal one to throw.
He's going to send us some.
Send us some to post on the show. But
you're probably looking at one right now.
As far as picturesque Columbia Gorge vineyards is concerned, it's really quite dramatic. Mm-hmm. Those will be probably up right now.
Yeah. Tell us the story. What was the connection? Right, you're going to make wine in Oregon. You're looking around for places to buy fruit from. What leads you up to the other side of Hood River?
So I was
ad online.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes, an ad online.
That's how I met my girlfriend. It's a good thing.
Before that, I worked for Shanann a long time ago. At Medici, and 10 years down the line, I'm actually making my wines there. But Peter Rosbach at Medici was kind of really a big fan of Columbia Gorge wines. His old friend Zinfandel from the Dells.
Okay.
Kind of some unique fruit out there. I don't know much about it, but I know there's some real stories behind the Zinfandel out in the Gorge.
Yeah. And so I really became interested in this area, and it was an area that was really underrepresented and people didn't really know a whole lot about. And so when I decided that I wanted to make my own wines, I wanted to make something that had a little bit of a correlation to me and my family, and most of my family comes from the Columbia Gorge area,
Cool.
So I just wanted to have something that was tied into my roots, and so I thought I'd start with a Columbia Gorge wine, and as it turns out, I think the Columbia Gorge is really a happening place and an up and coming place for grapes in the Pacific Northwest.
And I think a little untapped, right? Like a lot of the AVAs here really have a marketing engine behind them. They're established, and it's easy to get the impression that that's where all the good fruit comes from. Mm-hmm. But I think in a lot of ways that's not true. There's a lot to discover yet in Oregon, and a lot of other places are building their reputation as time goes by.
Yeah, and this is technically Washington.
Oh,
but I kind of think of it as Oregon because it's kind of, that Columbia Gorge area. But there really is cool climate wine growing happening in Washington, which is something that I'm trying to. It takes a little bit more effort to try to explain this wine to people, but
sure.
I think you guys have been here before.
Yes.
To the Columbia Gorge, it's a magical place, and there's a lot of really good wines being made there.
Cool. As someone who I literally hear nothing but marketing blast from the Willamette Valley and from Walla Walla. I think Columbia Gorge gets lost in the mix, and they don't really get. Either they don't have the great marketing engine that the other two regions that sort of sister or neighbor them have, but a lot of, like you were saying, it's sort of untapped at this point. And the wineries that are doing really special things there are really not that well known yet.
Yeah, but it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. Yeah, absolutely.
It's good. You get in early, you'll still be able to buy this fruit when nobody else can.
Yep,
that's great.
And so this is an older vine vineyard? Right?
No, it's about
time, or younger vineyard.
Gosh, what is it? We're 2016. No, this is about 10 years old. So
okay.
This is a younger vineyard.
Okay.
This is 100% from Crooked Acres Vineyard, which is the same vineyard that you guys tasted my Gris Foncé, which is a co-fermentation of Pinot Gris and Pinot Noir.
Right.
Same vineyard, but 100% Pinot Noir.
Cool.
50% Vadensville, 50% Pomard clone, and volcanic soils, 1,500 feet elevation.
Really high.
So high up there.
Alcohol level?
12. I kind of guessed on this one when I did the labels, but when I ran numbers on it, it's around 12%.
Nice.
All right. Yeah. So it's 12.5, but
yeah. You've got that flexibility.
Yeah,
of course.
I kind of overstated on the label. It's around 12% alcohol.
Well, you'll never get in trouble that way then, right?
No. You have
it's lower. It's lower, I swear.
A percentage and a half leeway. But the thing about this region in particular is that you're able to get really ripe flavors with low alcohols. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I like in wines. I don't like high alcohol wines.
Sure.
I like
and that's more of a challenge every year that goes by, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say that every year, but 14 and 15 definitely. If you wanted hot wine, you could make it, right?
Right.
I'd say probably a challenge to avoid that, right? If you don't want to make big ripe wines, you had to work for it.
Yeah, I think so. I think it just depends on what your vineyard sources are. If you work with colder vineyards, you have to kind of go with that gamble.
Sure.
In colder years, you're going to be you'll have more of a challenge. But if you're the type of winemaker that likes more acidic wines from colder vineyards,
or wine drinker,
then there's no problems there. But if you have a warmer year, then you still have that acid, and you have kind of more like this, and it's lower in alcohol and it's more ripe, but it still has the freshness and the sense of place and the minerality that you don't get when the wines get more ripe.
Is this another 100% whole stem or whole cluster?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
And I get a little more red fruit than I do in the Willamette Valley. I feel like it's a little brighter.
Yeah,
There's still some earthy character. Still kind of a little bit of a touch of herbal kind of complexity on the nose as well.
Yeah, it's like brighter, like in a sort of like raspberry, almost like red currant sort of thing. Not like dark, not like dark red currants, but like the ones that are bright red that you can almost see through in the light. You know what I mean? Like there's like that sort of like zippiness to the nose. Smells really nice. So yeah.
I think this is one of the most one of the wines that I'm most proud of making.
Awesome.
Is this one.
Thanks for bringing it out.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it on the palate. Any new oak on this?
No. So
Wow.
so this is 15% between comparing the two Pinot Noirs. This is 15% new oak from the punch and then neutral barrels, and then this is 3 times used barrels all across the board. Wow. So you get
It's got to be coming from the stems then, huh?
The tannin.
A little bit, and I get kind of like a round
fuller
tannin.
here.
Like I was going to compliment you on your use of oak, but that seems like a dumb thing to do after if it's 3 times used.
Yeah, so you get the tannin or the roundness from the oak and a little bit of the vanilla.
Just a touch. There's just a touch.
Yeah, but there's no new oak on it.
Okay.
It's barrels that have been used 3 times before I used them. So.
Cool.
Like bright cherry fruit, like young, sort of like a rose, sort of. It's all good. I do it all the time. Sort of like where you could, like rose petal, but like green rose petal, and then just the cherry fruit is very full and has a great intensity and like a surprising intensity despite the alcohol level. Like there's a weight here that is really really nice texturally. You know, like.
And I think the structure is definitely present, and this suggests ageability to me far more than the 2014 does even. Like it's balanced, and I think it's pretty well integrated, but the structure is still pretty strong, and I like it. I like it now. I think people, if you open one now, you'd really enjoy it with food, kind of to work with it, or if you like a little more structured wines. But the idea of what this is going to taste like in a year to 3 is quite exciting to me. Like I feel this has got a lot of good things going on. Yeah.
Cool. Like what do you think the aging potential for like a wine like this is?
Well, for the Gorge.
Yeah.
Between the two,
I
actually,
have no experience with Gorge Pinot Noir, right? Like it's
not
very little. Yeah.
Really, not much either.
There's not much of it out there, right? So.
Between the two, actually, I look at more at the Willamette Valley as being the wine that's going to age or that's going to open up more over time. Right now, I think the Gorge Pinot Noir is actually showing better than the Willamette Valley. I think the tannins are a little bit more firm. The acid is higher in this wine. With the Gorge, it's just. I mean, yeah, it still is bound up, but I think it's more ready to go out of the gate now than the Willamette Valley. So.
Like it's definitely like the intensity of fruit flavor is like is more than the Willamette Valley. Like it's definitely a more robust wine, which is surprising given like alcohol levels you can sort of attribute. There's ripeness variance, but they're both 14s, but like alcohol helps push forward some of that ripeness a little bit sometimes in certain wines, and it's really surprising to know that it's 12% alcohol, but like it's incredibly intense in a very good way. Yeah, it's delicious.
Retail on this, or it's going to be released soon, right?
No, it's just coming out right now. It's depending on where you go, but it's around $22 to $23.
Yeah, they were great. Yeah, great value.
Yeah, thanks for producing some wine at like some insane price points. Like this is.
Yeah, well, I'm not Joe Serene. I'm Joe Swick. I'm not Joe Summit.
His wines haven't beat Romani Conti in blind tasting.
Not yet. Someday.
No, but this is a great chance to get into some new stuff, to try some things representing interesting terroir, and definitely check it out. I guess different opinions on which one's tasting is more ready to drink right now.
I think they're both really delicious. Man, really good, yeah. For me personally, I think the 14 Willamette Valley is like just freaking smoking right now. I like it. I like where it's at. It's delicious.
Like a little more of the acidity, I guess. That's where it's falling.
Feeling it.
Kind of some cool questions. So it sounds like the Sous-Bois is something that you'd like to make kind of through your career as a winemaker. You'd like to keep emphasizing the Gorge as one of the key parts of your portfolio.
I think so. I think it's been hit and miss. Trying to educate people, because people really don't know a whole lot about the Columbia Gorge, and especially
I'm one of them. Yeah.
When you're trying to sell Pinot Noir from Washington, and it's just across the river.
Yeah. From
Hood River, and so yes, it is Washington technically, but. Because I want to taste that Alvarinho again.
This shit's good.
For yourself, yeah.
Sorry, it was really bleep.
No, I mean,
I don't bleep that one.
Yeah.
Willamette Valley.
Yes.
The correlation between Burgundy. I don't like using the making Burgundian wines in Oregon.
And I appreciate that about you.
And
I've read that a couple times, just in certain things, and like. Yes, you're making Burgundian wine, but we're in Oregon.
Yeah,
I make Oregon wine.
Yeah, no.
And I mean, I can understand the influence, and it's good to draw from that experience. But like at the same point, like make wines from here.
Yeah. I mean, I've caught some flack for having that opinion, but
really,
yeah, I have. But my thing, and it's very
embrace where you're from.
It's very peaceful. It's my own thing.
Yeah.
The Pacific Northwest is very much in my blood.
Shout out to Paul Willenberg for being down with this too, by the way.
Yeah.
He talks about it all the time, like represent where you're at.
Yeah. I mean, all these places, wherever you get inspired by, for me it's Portugal, of all places.
That's awesome.
Burgundy, Loire, Germany, Austria, whatever. All of those places have their own soils and their own climates. Oregon, we're very special here. We make wines that taste like Oregon. Let's just make Oregon styled wines.
Yeah,
that's my thing.
Yeah,
I just
figure out what it is. Yeah,
I'm proud of where I'm from, and I just want to promote making Oregon styled wines.
And every year that comes by, that phrase means more and is more interesting, and is really able to stand on its own, like globally. Like the growth just continues to happen, and it's exciting to see people. I mean, that's partly why we do the show.
Yeah,
is like we love what's going on here.
We have at least I have a very similar opinion. Yeah, like, we need to showcase the best of Oregon. Mm-hmm.
So two questions. Then you get 4 free tons of grapes from anywhere in Oregon. Where do you pull them from?
I think that if someone were willing to plant some Portuguese grape varietals,
all right.
Does anyone in Oregon?
They do. No, they exist.
They do. I think down in like we were talking about before.
Yeah.
Down in the Rogue Valley.
Okay.
And obviously Abasella. But
Rogue Valley is like deep Oregon south, very far south.
Yeah. But kind of in the area of Mosier, going towards the Dalles, between Hood River and the Dalles, near where Analema is.
Yeah.
If someone planted some Portuguese grape varieties, maybe not Malvasia, but Maria Gomes or Arintu or Baga or Touriga Nacional or something like that. That's probably what I would work with if I had 4 tons of free grapes. Or if you want to get away from the Portuguese thing, maybe Chenin Blanc.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool to have some Chenin Blanc.
So there you go. Interesting answer. You're not going to hear that from too many people in the valley. So a little bit of insight into what he does, how he thinks. Thanks so much for coming.
I have one question.
Okay, go for it.
The internet, inquiring minds of the internet want to know.
Yeah.
FBIV.
I can't disclose that information.
All right. That's what I had to ask.
It's a proprietary what is that? An acronym?
Sure.
Yeah. For people that have worked at Costa Brown Winery, and we shall never.
Shout outs to any of those people.
Oh yeah. Yes, definitely.
Great.
Big shout outs. Seabass, Dirty Mike and the boys.
That's great.
Hank Mardukas. And then from Stillwater, Minnesota.
All right. Wow. Cool.
No, not Jeremiah Tim. Cal Blitman and Carl Spiesman.
2 guys from Stillwater?
Yep.
Wild.
That's awesome.
Out in Cali. All right.
Yeah.
Living the dream. Good deal. Thanks so much for coming out.
Thank you.
Any question you want to ask the audience?
Yeah, we got every question of the day. So whenever we have a guest on the show, you can ask the viewers anything about wine, about life, about sports, about literally anything. What would you ask the internet? You know what I mean? Like,
Oh gosh. The internet. What do you think about completely raw, unsheathed, unshaven, just completely raw dog wines?
There we go. There we go. That's one of the best questions we've had in a while.
I tend to like them.
Yeah, I'm generally into it. So cool. I look forward to your answers. Thanks again, Joe, for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for
we'll
having
see
me.
you guys next week. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.